You've done everything they said would unlock your life. You've read the right books, repeated the affirmations, sat in silence, and tried to still your mind. You built vision boards covered in color and hope, trying to bring your dreams closer. You practiced gratitude even when it hurt, visualized the life you wanted until the images felt more like fantasy than a future. And yet, nothing changed. Or worse, things started slipping further away. Quietly, somewhere beneath the surface, the question began to whisper, "What am I doing wrong?" Here's the truth. Uncomfortable, but freeing once you see it clearly. The universe isn't responding to how hard you try. It never was. It doesn't reward the hours spent visualizing or the effort poured into rituals and mantras. It doesn't measure your desperation or your devotion. It responds to something quieter, something deeper, something you're always broadcasting, whether you realize it or not. The universe doesn't respond to your effort. It responds to your energy. And that energy, that frequency, is not shaped by what you say. It's shaped by what you embody. You could be asking for abundance while your body is still vibrating with fear. You could be affirming self-love while bracing for rejection. You could be scripting success while your nervous system expects failure. The field doesn't respond to your wishes. It reflects your most dominant signal, your embodied truth. This is why manifestation can feel like a cycle of hope and disappointment. Because the quantum field is not a machine that gives you what you ask for. It's a mirror that reflects what you truly believe, what you feel, and what you live. Coherence isn't a thought, it's a state. It's when your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors align into one clear signal. It's when your body, breath, inner voice, and actions are all moving in the same direction. Most people are trying to think their way into a better life, while their body is still frozen in old survival patterns. You can say you're ready, but the field hears the contradiction if you don't believe it in your bones. That's why things feel stuck. The universe isn't ignoring you, it's mirroring you. And what it mirrors is your frequency, not your goals, not your journal, not your words. This is where the real shift begins. Not with another ritual, not with more effort, but with a change so foundational, it feels like beginning again. A shift from seeking to being, from chasing to allowing, from trying to trusting, because in the quantum world, pushing is interference. Forcing sends out a signal of fear. But when you soften, when you regulate, when you return to your center, that's when your signal becomes clear. And that's when the field can finally respond. Take a gentle breath and ask yourself this. Where in your life are you holding on too tightly? Where are you so focused on a specific outcome that you've forgotten to become the person who already lives inside it? This is the quiet contradiction that so many carry without realizing. You ask for clarity, but your energy sends confusion. You speak words of faith while your nervous system hums with doubt. You're trying to manifest from two opposing realities, and the field doesn't respond to your words. It mirrors your coherence. Most people are unknowingly sending scrambled signals into the quantum field. They ask for abundance, but they vibrate with scarcity. They want love, but their body still braces for abandonment. They visualize a new chapter, but they wake up every morning expecting the same old story. On the surface, they're aligned. But beneath it, their vibration hasn't changed. And the field reflects what's true beneath the surface, not what's written on your vision board. The quantum field isn't confused. It's precise. It's listening to your entire system, not just your thoughts, but your breath, your posture, your tone, your patterns. It doesn't deliver what you say you deserve. It reflects what you are, what you're being consistently. That's why manifestation isn't about how many affirmations you repeat. It's about whether your whole being is in agreement with what you're asking for. Imagine saying, "I am abundant," while feeling anxious every time you spend money. Or declaring, "I trust the process," while checking your phone in panic. You might think you're manifesting when in fact you're broadcasting interference. The message becomes noise, and the universe mirrors that noise right back to you. False starts, mixed results, almost that slip through your fingers. The signal is unclear, so the response is but when you begin to live in coherence, when your thoughts, feelings, and actions line up, you send a clean, uninterrupted frequency. And that frequency has weight in the quantum field. It begins to pull things into form. The universe doesn't delay because it doubts you. It waits for your energy to stop contradicting itself. That's when reality bends. That's when the shift becomes visible. So now, we go deeper. What exactly is the signal you're sending out, moment by moment? It's not just what you think, not just what you feel, and it's not just what you do. It's the harmony, or the discord, between all three. In the next part, we'll look at the mechanics of that signal. We'll uncover why your subconscious, not your affirmations, is the true observer in the quantum field. And we'll explore the science that explains why life keeps reflecting the energy you don't even know you're carrying. In quantum physics, there's a phenomenon called the observer effect. At the smallest level of existence, where particles are just probabilities, nothing becomes real until it's observed. Until then, everything exists as potential. But the moment you focus your attention, the wave collapses into one reality. Observation creates form. Intention carves the outcome. But here's the part most people miss. The observer is not just your conscious mind. It's your subconscious, and that changes everything. Because while you may be affirming success, your subconscious may still be scanning for danger. While you're scripting love, your inner programming could be bracing for heartbreak. While your vision board says wealth, your nervous system is still carrying the imprint of lack. And in the field, it's not your surface-level intentions that collapse the wave into form. It's the deeper signal you don't even realize you're transmitting. The quantum responds to your dominant expectation, not your hopeful declarations. This is why people feel stuck. They do the work, they visualize, they meditate, and yet life doesn't move. Because they're aligned in thought, but fragmented in belief. Their conscious desires are being drowned out by unconscious fears. They're looking at life through the lens of why isn't it working, without realizing that their frequency is quietly saying, I don't expect it to. The subconscious isn't trying to sabotage you. It's trying to protect you. But in doing so, it becomes the real architect of your reality. And the field, sensitive, neutral, exact, responds to that. It reflects what's coming from your heart, your body, your breath, not just your goals. In fact, your heart sends out an electromagnetic field that's stronger than your brain's. Science can measure it. It radiates beyond your body and interacts with the space around you. When your heart and mind are in sync, when what you think and what you feel are in harmony, you become a powerful transmitter. Your signal becomes coherent. And in the quantum field, coherence is magnetic. This isn't metaphor, it's physics. The field doesn't reward your effort. It responds to your wholeness. When your signal is scattered, the response is too. Mixed emotions create mixed outcomes. But when your inner world is unified, when your breath, your posture, your story, and your action all align, you become undeniable. The universe doesn't need convincing. It's just waiting for clarity. So pause and reflect. What are you really broadcasting? Not just during your rituals, but in the quiet moments. When you're scrolling your phone, reacting to stress, walking into rooms. What's your baseline frequency? Because the field listens to your rhythm, not your routines. In the next part, we'll explore how your nervous system, often ignored in manifestation teachings, is actually your most powerful transmitter. And why lasting change doesn't begin in your mind, but in your body. Now that we understand the field responds to coherence, not effort, and that your subconscious carries the real signal, we have to ask, What part of you is broadcasting this signal every single moment? The answer is closer than your thoughts. Closer than your affirmation. It's your nervous system. That quiet, responsive web running through your body is the very interface between your inner world and the quantum field. It senses threat, safety, expansion, contraction, long before your conscious mind catches up. You can tell yourself you're open to receiving more. You can visualize wealth, love, success. But if your breath is shallow, your shoulders tight, your body braced for impact, then the message the field receives is not "I'm ready." It's "I'm afraid." That's what gets mirrored back. Not because you did anything wrong, but because your body is simply telling the truth. It doesn't lie, it can't lie, even when your mind tries. This is why so many feel like they're self-sabotaging, without understanding why. You tell yourself you're ready for intimacy, but when someone gets too close, your body pulls away. You affirm trust in the universe, yet refresh your phone with nervous anticipation. You journal about healing, but one difficult interaction triggers a wave of survival instincts. The disconnect is not in your intention, it's in your system's wiring. The body is still living in the past. We're taught to outthink our discomfort, to override emotion, to believe that if we just stay positive, the rest will follow. But the field doesn't care what face you show to the world. It tunes into the energy you hold behind closed doors. When your nervous system is dysregulated, stuck in hypervigilance or collapse, your signal becomes static, fragmented, loud in all the wrong frequencies. And no amount of doing the work can mask that from the field. The good news, the beautiful, powerful truth, is that your nervous system is not fixed. It's adaptable. It can be reshaped, not through pressure or force, but through consistency and care. Every time you breathe deeply, instead of reacting, you rewrite your signal. Every time you ground yourself in the now, you build safety. Every time you choose softness over bracing, presence over panic, you send a new vibration. And over time, that becomes your baseline. That becomes what the field responds to. This isn't just mindset work. This is embodiment work. It's a return to truth, to regulation, to rhythm. In the next part, we'll explore what this looks like in real life, what it means to live from safety, to shift from reaction to resonance, to reclaim the broadcast of your nervous system. Because when you feel safe to receive, the universe doesn't just respond, it rearranges. So, what does this look like in the moments that make up your actual life? It means noticing your body more than your calendar. It means pausing when you feel tension in your jaw, rather than pushing through. It means choosing to regulate rather than react. Most people think manifestation is about doing, but in truth, it's about how you be. Your baseline nervous system state isn't just background noise, it's your primary broadcast. If your body is stuck in survival, the message you send is one of fear, even if your lips are saying faith. If you're anxious, guarded, tightly wound, the universe hears that contraction and responds with matching resistance. You might be scripting your dream life every morning, but if your system doesn't feel safe to have it, the signal stays scrambled. The quantum field can't respond to what you don't feel safe enough to receive. This is why healing and manifestation are not separate journeys. They're the same. When your body starts to believe that it's safe to open, safe to relax, safe to hold good things, then the field begins to reflect that new coherence. Opportunities come with less strain. Relationships begin to mirror connection instead of protection. Money flows with fewer knots in your stomach because your vibration isn't sending out "I need," it's sending "I can hold." And this is the part few talk about. It's not just about alignment during meditation. It's about who you are when life is boring, hard, stressful, or uncertain. When you're scrolling, waiting in line, reacting to news, what is your nervous system saying then? Because that is your true signal, and the field hears that louder than any vision board. It listens to your rhythm, not your ritual. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be calm 100% of the time. The field doesn't require perfection. It responds to patterns. So ask, are you practicing stillness? Or just stuffing down your stress? Are you using spirituality to override discomfort or to hold it gently? Because regulation isn't suppression. It's sacred listening. It's learning to stay with yourself, no matter what arises. In the next part, we're going to talk about control. How the very act of gripping tightly, of trying to force outcomes, is often the strongest signal of mistrust. You'll see why chasing what you want can create resistance, and how letting go, not giving up, can be the most aligned move you ever make. If your nervous system is the transmitter, then control is often the static. And here's the paradox. The more tightly we grip, the more we push what we want away. Not because we're unworthy or undeserving, but because the energy behind control is mistrust. Most people who feel blocked in manifestation aren't lazy or unfocused. They're exhausted, not from doing too little, but from doing too much, fueled by fear that nothing will work unless they force it. We've been conditioned to believe that control equals safety. That if we just track every variable, plan every move, double-check every outcome, then somehow we'll arrive safely. But in the quantum world, that mindset creates interference. The field doesn't interpret control as strength. It feels it as resistance. Every time you try to micromanage your timeline, you're signaling that you don't trust the process. That doubt is what ripples outward, and the field echoes it right back. Think of it like planting a seed. You water it, nourish it, give it light. But if you dig it up every hour to check whether it's growing, you disturb the very roots that need time to settle. Your urgency becomes disruption. Your obsession becomes delay. And that's what many are doing with their manifestations. Trying so hard to force alignment that they strangle the natural unfolding. Control hides in spiritual clothing. You might think you're being intentional, but you're still chasing from fear. You visualize abundance, then obsessively refresh your bank app. You script about love, but analyze every text message for signs. You meditate in the morning, then spiral in stress by the afternoon. These aren't just habits, they're patterns of energetic contradiction. And the field doesn't respond to your moments of clarity. It responds to your dominant frequency. This is why people say, "I'm doing everything right." But nothing's happening, because they're still broadcasting need. They're still gripping, still seeking proof before trust. But manifestation doesn't respond to proof. It responds to belief. It doesn't move because you demand it. It moves because you become the version of yourself who no longer doubts it's already on the way. So the shift is subtle but sacred. From chasing to allowing, from controlling to collaborating. Surrender isn't weakness. It's alignment. It's giving permission to what's already aligned to reach you. In the next part, we'll explore what it truly means to embody the version of you who already has it. Not to pretend, not to perform, but to become the frequency that matches what you desire before it ever arrives. Everything we've explored so far leads to this truth. Manifestation doesn't unfold because you desire something. It unfolds when you embody it. And this is where many people unknowingly disconnect. Not because they lack vision or discipline, but because they keep trying to receive from a frequency they haven't yet become. They wait for the external to shift before they shift internally. But in the quantum field, reality bends only when you do first. You don't manifest the life you want by chasing it. You draw it in by stepping into the identity that already lives it. This isn't pretending. It's not faking a smile or forcing gratitude. Embodiment means aligning your thoughts, your breath, your posture, your choices, with the vibration of what you're calling in. It's living as though it's already true, because in a parallel timeline, it is. And your job isn't to wait for proof. Your job is to match the signal. So if it's love you're seeking, ask yourself, how does the version of me who is loved, seen, and chosen move through the day? Would they overthink a delayed reply, Would they shrink their truth just to be liked? Or would they carry a quiet grace, rooted in their own worth? That version of you might pause before reacting. They might speak softer to themselves. They might stop begging for closure, because they are closure. If it's abundance you're calling in, it's not about shouting, "I'm wealthy," while panicking over bills. It's about shifting your inner sense of enoughness. Maybe it looks like tipping with trust, walking slower in the store, not checking your bank app 5 times a day. Those aren't just actions, they're signals. And they say, "I trust that more is coming. I trust I'm safe now." If it's healing you're after, embodiment doesn't mean denying pain. It means treating your body like a partner instead of a project. It means giving it rest instead of punishment, speaking to it with love instead of criticism. Every small act becomes a broadcast, an energetic message that says, "This is my new reality. I'm not chasing health. I'm choosing it." In the next part, we'll explore what happens when you wobble, when fear creeps in, when the old version of you tries to pull you back. Because no matter how aligned you become, life will test it. And the real mastery isn't in staying elevated at all time. It's in returning to alignment when you fall. That return, that sacred reset, is where your power truly lives. No matter how deeply you embody the new version of yourself, life will stretch you. A bill will arrive that catches you off guard. A conversation will trigger an old ache. A delay will stir the voice of fear you thought you'd already outgrown. Your frequency will wobble, your trust will tremble, and in those moments, it's easy to believe you failed. But you haven't. You're human. And this isn't failure. It's feedback. It's a chance to remember, alignment isn't about staying perfect. It's about returning to center, again and again. That return begins with awareness, not judgment. You feel the contraction, and instead of collapsing, you breathe. You put a hand on your heart. You ask, "What part of me feels unsafe right now?" You listen, not to fix, but to hold. Because fear isn't the enemy. It's a messenger. It's a signal that something inside you still needs safety, still needs love. And when you stop trying to silence it, and instead make space for it, something shifts. The signal clears. The static settles. Emotional regulation isn't spiritual bypassing. It's not pretending everything is fine. It's being honest enough to feel what's real without letting it steer your life. Your nervous system doesn't need perfection. It needs consistency. Think of it like tuning an instrument. Over time, the strings go a little flat, not because you've done something wrong, but because that's what strings do. So you listen, you adjust, you return. That's coherence. That's embodiment. That's mastery. In practice, this might look like pausing when your breath gets shallow, relaxing your jaw when tension builds, placing a mantra in your back pocket for the moment fear returns, creating rituals not for performance but for regulation, noticing when you spiral and choosing to rise gently. These aren't hacks. They're sacred acts of self-stabilization. The universe doesn't require loud declarations. It listens to your rhythm, to how quickly you return to truth after being pulled into old timelines. And here's what few people understand. You don't have to walk this path alone. We are energetic beings, built for connection. You regulate faster in the presence of those who affirm your expansion. You remember who you are when you're surrounded by voices that don't echo your fear, but reflect your wholeness. So choose your circle wisely. Fill your environment with reminders of your frequency. This isn't weakness, it's strategy. There is no finish line in this work, no final destination where you never wobble again. This is a way of being, a relationship with the field, a partnership with your own becoming. So as you step forward, remember, you are the signal, you are the observer, you are the field. And when your rhythm returns to coherence, the universe moves with you. Not because you forced it, but because you became impossible to ignore. That is the true power of manifestation. Not in what you chase, but in who you are.